And good evening. We welcome you to, well, actually, this will be the last Tuesday edition of the Playoff Rankings Breakdown Show. As this Sunday, we will announce the field of the high school football playoffs coming up here in 2023. But tonight, we'll take a look at the numbers that came out earlier today from the FHSAA, Marty Pallman, along with Joshua Wilson, the owner and publisher of FloridaHSFootball.com. Josh, what an exciting time this is. This is the week. I mean, this is the last week of the regular season, and we got playoffs coming up.
This is it, Marty. This is it here in terms of everything. The whole enchilada comes to fruition here. And, I mean, how many days left now? Like 5 days?
5 days. Sunday.
5 days. I mean, it's hard to believe, in 5 days' time that we are going to be talking not just playoffs, but actual playoff brackets. And so, without further ado, you'll want to tune in between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Sunday. We are going to break it down. We are going to have a slate of guests here that I've already secured. Actually, 4 guests. I was hoping to 5, but in terms of everything, I was hoping we at least have maybe a group of 4 to 5. But we got in terms of us joining on the show, we have 4 guests. 4 incredible guests that we'll have on Sunday as part of the roundtable in hour 2 of the show. We'll break everything down in hour 1. Now, the FHA will release the brackets at 10 a.m. on Sunday, so we'll take that time between 10 and 5, kind of get things ready, digest everything, kind of get things situated, settled for everything that we're going to do. And I'll tell you this, it's we're going to have incredible guests like the great Larry Bluestein, Mike Rideout, that we all know from Main Street Daily News. Right. We have Irish Bill from the Panhandle, Irish Bill Sports. Irish Bill does a really great job, Irish Bill Hamill. And then we also have Dan LaFleur, Central Florida Scoreboard. Dan LaFleur's pretty in tune with what's going on down there. So we'll have a good plethora of coverage around the state. Yes. And I'll tell you what, it's really one of those, scenarios and scenes that, everything that, with the playoffs, that we're going to have a lot going on, a lot that's going to happen, and everything like that. Now, remember, there's a lot here. We're also going to be seeking sponsors out for during our playoff coverage. So we're going to be now starting. We're going to figure out either Tuesday or Wednesday. We may switch it to Wednesdays during the playoffs, but we will do playoff preview shows and everything like that. We're going to put the Blitz shows on hiatus after tonight until after the first of the year, but we're going to focus on the playoffs and everything, because at that point it's either win or go home after that.
Win or go home, that's right. And we're going to be seeing that for about after this week, for the next about 5 weeks or so after that into December. So
yeah, turn the mic around. There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was sounding like you were in an echo there for a moment.
Yeah, it was. So we've got a lot coming up, and as you said, tonight's our last edition of the Blitz shows, and then we'll take a look at the playoffs every week, every Tuesday, from now until next week, until the state championships wrap up in December in Tallahassee.
Yeah, and so a lot going on there and everything like that. And of course, there might be some not just playoff shows like during every week, but there might also be some special stuff coming from Tallahassee as well. So we'll be working on that. We'll let y'all know as we get a few more details and everything along the lines like that. So again, it's the playoff breakdown show here, the last show of before the whole enchilada comes out, Marty. And
whole enchilada, yes.
The whole enchilada, and of course, appreciate Philip Crutchfield. He does has been doing a lot for us there. Raymond James and Associates here in Gainesville, so with Prosperity Wealth Management. So we appreciate him and everything like that. And then of course, we also, another sponsor that I really got to shout out is Zephyr Hills, who has been teaming up, well, not with the FHA, but also with us to help promote because they're the official spring water of Florida high school football, and together they are proudly supporting athletes, coaches, and parents, fans, parents, booster clubs, and more. And during the season, Zephyr Hills has been honoring one team from each of the 9 classifications with Team of the Week award and team selected through the season that have been eligible to win Team of the Year award, which includes a $500 donation to the winning schools. So you go vote for your team each week. Go to zhteamoftheweek.com and to participate and vote for your team of the week, especially during the playoffs, because, hey, you never know what team might just pull off a special upset. And Marty, the chat box is already popping up here and everything. And Charles Bell, good evening to you. We appreciate there. Hello. And yes, we have the spooky effects here tonight for Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody across the state, and happy Halloween to you.
Yeah, happy Halloween. I know, right? And it is Halloween, which means tomorrow is November 1st, which means definitely means we're in the postseason when we hit November. But yeah, the season has flown by. But one more week to go this Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of games, and then Sunday the announcement will be made, and then next Friday, Thursday, Friday we'll have playoffs.
Yeah, I know in our area that we're at least guaranteed to get playoff games Thursday and Friday night, looking like.
Looks like it, yeah.
So we'll talk about that here and everything. And, of course, Rob Jordan says, let's see the previews. Yes, you're definitely right. We're going to get into that, right?
Look
Yes.
at the spooky
Yes,
letters.
The spooky effects. Yes, let's see the previews. And, Marty, let's go ahead and pop it up here as we're with everything. And, of course, we'll take your comments, everything along the way here. If you got that, you want to chat and everything, you got a question, pop it up in the chat box. Either you're watching here on Facebook or YouTube, that's where you can really pop up the questions at. And or also if you're watching on X, that platform formerly known as Twitter, that way you can also watch us there. But we appreciate everybody joining us here. And Marty, we've got it. Class 1R, Region 1. This is where we're going to start at tonight.
Yeah, we're going to start here with the number 1 seed, the Bozeman Bucks. They are still unbeaten. They beat Holmes County last week. Looks like they're going to be the number 1 seed there in Region 1 at this point.
Yeah, Bozeman's been the story of the year. Bozeman will be definitely something we'll talk about more here as we go into the playoffs. Bozeman has just been really rolling the Bucks. The Bozeman Bucks don't really have just been really rolling here at this particular conjecture. 9-0. I mean, they to go into the playoffs undefeated. I think it's really that's the key thing. I think that's what the thing. And Charles Bell says Bozeman doesn't have a game this week, and I think he's actually right about that. I want to pull that up as we go here through the rest of the teams here, Marty, and Region 1.
9-0 probably, but yeah, as you see at the bottom, Chipley and Freeport, the 3 and the 6 matchup. Freeport moves up a spot into the number 6 spot this week, and there's Northview. Still there, and Jay and Northview at 4-5. As Jay looks like they're going to have a winning season. Northview, despite only having 3 wins, is right in that 5th spot.
Yeah. Oh, and that is what Charles Bell meaning that they don't have a game in the first round. You're right. They don't have a first game because they would get a first bye. They get a bye, but they are going to play Rutherford this week, so they do have Rutherford. They can most likely go to 10-0 on the season. Be the first time ever in Bozeman Bucks history to go 10-0. What very much likely here. So, but in terms of the case, Bozeman and Holmes County, those 2 teams would get a first round bye, and they would go into the second round to the regional semifinals there and everything. So
Freeport replaces Vernon this week. Vernon fell out. Baker is also the first team out right now. So we'll see if that is able to carry over until the announcement this Sunday. If Freeport gets in, Baker, however this order ends up. It looks like Bozeman will be number 1.
No, absolutely. You're right about that, Marty, and I think that's going to be the key case and everything. So in terms of going along forward here, we've got Region 2. Again, of course, everybody in the region, in each of the Class 1R regions, 6 teams go. First 2 get byes, and then that's how it works.
Yeah, that's right. So we head over to Region 2, Bluntstown. They're the number 1 seed here. Big lead in this region. They're 6-2. Osceola Christian is second, but they're at a negative number right now. They do remain second, though, with a 7-1 record. They lost to a team from Georgia. And those are the 2 with the bye. And then you see Port St. Joe, Weewahitchka at the bottom. Weewahitchka drops a spot, but now 6 needs up 1 to number 5, as they would right now play Cottondale, Liberty County, and Jefferson County on the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, I don't really think that in terms of the teams you're seeing here in Region 2, the top 6 is going to change much. Liberty County is a little bit behind in a little bit of distance. I think Weewaw is going to be that final team in. But I don't – the only thing I might see happening here is maybe a potential chance that Port St. Joe and Osceola Christian flip-flop here in the final ranking. We'll have to see what happens here. It depends on what Port St. Joe's does here this week.
Right, it does. And they're 5-4 as Port St. Joe. We was 4-4, Cottondale 6-3, seeds 4-4. So pretty interesting look there, pretty even. It seems like they're in Region 2, although Bluntstown again had a pretty sizable lead. As we head to Region 3,
yes, indeed.
We'll take a look at Madison County. They are the number 1 seed there still.
And they got a pretty good significant lead on Fort White here. I mean, 12.579 compared to 9.374. I think, Fort White probably will end up going 9-1 here. They got Santa Fe this week. I think it'll be an easy win right there.
They played 2 more games in Madison. Madison's, I guess, will play this week, but that'll be only their 8th game.
They're only 8th game. They're a couple of first games in the season. One game got wiped out. The game against Gabi got wiped out because of Hurricane Idalia. But then the week 1 game didn't even get to halftime. They were losing 14-0 to Carrollwood Day. I think Madison County probably would have lost that game because how good Carrollwood Day is. But Madison, Price Harris is in the second year there, and it's gotten the Cowboys shifted back up into the upward trend here. But we'll see if we're. I don't think Madison County, what we think of Madison County, is as strong as what we are used to. But I think Madison County might be that team that emerges out of Region 3 this year in terms of getting to the state semifinals.
Yeah, I think Fort White will have something to say about it. I agree. They're a team that their only loss has been so far this year to Williston. So Union County in number 3 spot, they move up 1 to number 3 as they replace Lafayette, who drops 1 to 4. Lafayette and Brantford. That's a big rivalry game. They meet in the first round right now. And then Union County and Hilliard at the bottom 3-6 matchup. Hamilton County is the only team out right now in Region 3.
No, you're absolutely right, and of course it's only 7 teams, so 6 are going to go out of that region here, and of course this next region, Marty, this is call it the region of death, I think, in terms of Class 1R, because
right.
The best teams in 1R. 3 of your best teams, actually, I'd say 4 of your best teams really are sitting here in this region out of the 6. And you got Williston sitting there and Hawthorne, both 9-0. Williston's got 1 more game left. Hawthorne's done for the season in terms of the regular season. And then you've got Newberry sitting there. Actually, Newberry, I think, is 7-2, not 6-2. But I know Newberry is. Newberry's firmly sitting there in that 3 seed, and I think is there a chance that they may catch Hawthorne? I don't know, but the thing is, for Hawthorne, they're not catching Williston. Looking at those numbers here.
Also, Hawthorne doesn't play this week. That's not going to help them any. Williston will have Citrus, who they should handle. And as you said, Newberry. I forgot who Newberry's playing. They are playing this week, but you're right. They are 7-2.
Well, I'll pull that up here for you in a moment here as we go through this.
But as you look at that, Hawthorne with the bye, Williston with the bye. Newberry Dixie County would be an interesting first round matchup. Dixie County now in the 6th spot. They move up 1. Chiefland moved up 1 to number 5, which now puts them in a position where they have to.
And they didn't even play last week, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
They took a forfeit win.
Who?
Chiefland. They were supposed to play American Collegiate forfeit.
No, they played Madison County.
No, Madison County, but the week before that, and so that helped. So that made a difference right there between those 2 games right there. But you're right, Madison County. They did play Madison County. Excuse me, but that was the week before that. But Chiefland, I think what's interesting is the fact that but with them Dixie County, there was a flip flop spot right there. Dixie County losing. I think I thought that would have been a better quality loss, but apparently it wasn't in a way.
No, I guess not. Is Trenton right now is the first team out. I don't know if they're going to catch Dixie County at this point, and Wildwood's out as well. So we'll see how that goes this final week of the season. As you take a look, Newberry's playing Bellevue, so they're going to be favored.
Yeah, Newberry's going to be heavily favored in that game. That's what it's looking like right now in terms of that matchup. But and Chiefland does play. Good evening to you, Emery Smith. Doesn't Chiefland play Frostproof this week? Yes, at Frostproof. So that'll be an interesting matchup right there. But Chiefland. I will say this, in terms of the positioning, I think Chiefland needs that game more than Frostproof right this second, but then Frostproof might need that game too. So I think it might go both ways in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's a big game for either team. I think you're right on that. We will take a look, in fact, at Frostproof in just a moment as we move on. But
yes, and in this thing, we're going to roll into Class 1S, and we're going to recognize the district champions who are clinched in. And as you see here, Marty. 7 of the 8 districts have been decided.
Yep, the only district not to be decided right now is 1S5. They got a 3-way tie there right now between the 3 teams. Let's see.
I got them for you right here. Zephyr Hills Christian, Lakeland Christian, and Victory Christian.
That's an interesting district there. So, yeah, you can see North Florida Christian in District 1, St. John Paul II winning in District 2. 2 Tallahassee teams there. Trinity Catholic, despite being 3-6, they beat PK Young to win District 3. Melbourne Central Catholic, what a year for them. Nice comeback year from last year's tough season, 7-2. They are in District 4, as you mentioned, the 3-way tie in 5. Cardinal Mooney is Sarasota in District 6. Evangelical Christian out of Fort Myers in District 7. And First Baptist, the defending state champ from Naples, and wins District 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there you go. And we'll update this. We'll have the same graphics on the show on Sunday. Again, we're going to have a star-studded lineup here and everything for Sunday and on the show here when we break it really down, and then it'll be really official at this point and everything. But we'll have the full graphic. We'll find out who's in the thing. Right now, in terms of that, when we're talking about those teams, right now, and when you're going to see here in a couple minutes here, Marty, but Zephyr Hills Christian is the team that's in the lead right now for that district championship. So we'll keep that in mind. But you'll see here in the graphics in a moment here what we're talking about. So
right, okay. So as we move along to our matchups, there you go. We start in Region 1, North Florida Christian, as we said, on top. They're the number 1 seed, 7-3. So right now at this point, the 4 seed Monroe Day, despite only having 1 win, the Monroe Day right now ahead of Rocky Bayou Christian, as only top 4 make it here. And then the 2-3 matchup, St. John Paul II, district champs with a 4-5 record against Tallahassee McClay. So that's the top of 4. That's Region 1. And then in Region 2, Melbourne Central Catholic, 7-2. They're a district champion. They would play Halifax Academy.
Yeah, and Halifax Academy is looking for their first playoff berth, and
they're 7-2. Yeah, so
7-2, but lost pretty badly to Melbourne Central Catholic in that final district game right there. But Trinity Catholic, as you thing here, they're sitting there. They did come up to 3rd here this week, and they're now sitting in a position where they're. And keep in mind here as we talk about this, it's seeded 1 through 4, but an at-large team can host an at-large team, but in the first round, if an at-large team is higher than a district champ and they're facing that district champ, the district champ will host in that first round. And in a situation like this, Holy Trinity wouldn't make the trip over to Ocala.
Right, that's true. So right now, that's what we're looking at. Trinity Catholic probably going to get a home game. As you said, they will as district champs. First team, only team out right now is PK Young, who lost to Trinity Catholic last week. They're trailing Halifax Academy for that 4th spot. All right.
Yeah, absolutely there. And Ryan Nolan, good evening to you. Thank you for the comments there.
Great job. A little spooky lettering there.
A little spooky, yes. It is Halloween, so I like having the spooky graphic. When that popped up on the thing, I was like, well, let's use that tonight, since it's in the spirit of Halloween.
All right, we move along to Region 3 and 1S, and at the top there, as you see, right now Zephyr Hills Christian, as you said, leading District 5. They switch spots with Lakeland Christian, who's the 2 seed. And then as you see, Cardinal Moody's a district champ as the 3, but Victory Christian as a 4 has a chance as well. So those 3 teams battling for the 1 district title.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing right there. And then, of course, with Zephyr Hills Christian jumping up in the spot right now, it's going to be a tight battle right this second. Let's pull up real quick who Lakeland Christian. I know that Zephyr Hills Christian is playing American Collegiate this week. That's if the game goes off and everything the way, because American Collegiate has forfeited a couple games here along the way. But I believe when I say Lakeland Christian, I'm pulling it up right now here. Lakeland Christian's playing Strawberry Crest, so that could be interesting. Strawberry Crest, they're like a 500 team there over there in Hillsborough County. The thing I think is that Lakeland Christian just needs to come out, play strong, and just really kind of come out here and to see if they can't, get that win and see what happens with Zephyr Hills Christian, see if that gap closes there by the time they run the rankings there on Sunday morning. So we will see what happens there in that regard here.
Yeah, Region 4 now, First Baptist Naples. They had a pretty sizable lead. The District 8 champion, 13.189. They beat Naples Community School last week to win the district title. Naples Community School, the number 2 seed, despite an 8-1 record. That was their first loss of the year. And then you have Moorhaven and Evangelical Christian, who's a district champ, but is the 4 seed right now. Moorhaven, the 3 seed. St. John Newman out of Naples is the 1 team out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that I think what as you see here and pretty much in Class 1S, the teams that you see here that we've shown you here on the brackets, they're pretty much the teams that are going to be in the playoffs.
I would think so as well. And again, there's only like 5 teams in each region. Only 1 team it looks like in each would make the playoffs. So
yeah.
All right, and that's again 1S. How many schools are in 1S?
23.
Yeah, I know. That's
and then there's in the next classification.
Make the playoffs. Yeah.
And the next classification is 1M, and there's only 28 there. And but real quick here, pop up the comment here from Reginald Allen. Appreciate you. Great job, guys. Appreciate you, Reginald, for dropping in here and everything. And of course, a reminder, everybody, we're working up. We started with the 1, the classes with the 1, then we're going up to 2, 3, and then 4, wrapping up. So going alternating between the rural and the 1, metro, suburban and metro, and then across the board the rest of the way. So.
Right. So we move along to 1M now, as you said. Only 28 teams in this class. But first, let's take a look at the district champions.
Yeah, so 7 of the 8 districts have been decided here. Only 1 district has not been decided. That is 1M7. And the winner of Everglades Prep versus True North on Saturday night will the winner of that game will move on to a guaranteed spot in the playoffs as the district champs. So we will keep an eye on that. I expect True North probably to win that game pretty handily. But until that game is played and decided on the field, there is no district champ sitting there declared.
Right. So there you go. Trinity Christian in Region 1, or pardon me, District 1. Orlando Christian Prep wins District 2, 8-1 record for them. Clearwater Central Catholic, big year they're having in District 3. They're undefeated still. Northside Christian in District 4. Cardinal Newman out of West Palm Beach in District 5. And then, of course, Chaminade Madonna is probably the top team in the state in District 6. And the Archbishop Carroll of Miami in District 8, as you mentioned, District 7 will be decided this week. So there you are. Those are your 1M District champions. And we will start in Region 1 and 1M with,
Regions 1 and 2 here in Class 1M.
Yeah, Trinity Christian Conquerors, out of Jacksonville. They get the win at Providence last week, so they win District 1. So they move up from 3rd to 1st. Providence drops to 3rd as the runner-up. Orlando Christian Prep wins District 2, the number 2 seed. They would play Providence right now. And University Christian right now, the 4 seed in this region, would play Trinity Christian. That's always a good rivalry. These two teams played last year in the region final round. So that'd be kind of interesting, Region 1 there, as you have Orlando Christian Prep 8-1, Providence 7-2, and Trinity Christian 6-3, and Foundation Academy in Winter Garden right now is out.
Yeah, and I say this with Foundation Academy right this second. They posted on Friday night that they were going to the playoffs, but a subtle reminder. It's based upon the seeding. It's based upon the power ranking, and it's the top four, it's seeded 1 through 4. The 2 district champs go, and then 2 at-large teams go. Right now, it's sitting there. Providence and University Christian, Foundation Academy, and the First Academy are right now looking to be shut out of this based upon right here on the rankings.
You're not sure what they were looking at there, but they didn't think the numbers through right away. But we'll see. I would think that's probably going to change. Not going to change though.
I don't think it's going to change too much, to be honest. I mean,
yeah.
It all depends on what happens between right now. If Foundation Academy goes in and wins this week, that'd be a different story. Especially the fact that if University Christian loses Bishop Kenny, could the numbers sway enough? That's the question mark.
Could be. Yeah, you're right. They're 5-4, but both of those teams are 5-4. We'll talk about Bishop Kenny in a moment. Region 2. As we said, Clearwater Central Catholic unbeaten, number 1 seed. They win District 3, 9-0. Right behind them, Carrollwood Day. Their only loss this season was to Clearwater Central Catholic, and they are the 2 seed. They see Northside Christian right now out of St. Pete if they're to play. Indian Rocks Christian, the 4 seed, as well as St. Pete Catholic is out.
Yes, and I don't think that's going to change too much in terms of looking at that picture. I think that's going to stay steady here as we go running along here in terms of what for the last few days here of the regular season. Again, it's hard to believe we are almost to playoff time here.
I know it is. It's coming. I mean, it's here next week. We're going to be in playoffs next week. But looking also at Region 3 now as we move ahead. Of course, this is Chaminade Madonna. They've dominated here. As they have a 22.112 computer ranking, 9-0. They win District 6. And Avant-Garde of Hollywood would be their opponent right now. They're the 4 seed. Meanwhile, Cardinal Newman in District 5, 7-1. Good year for them. And they would take on Palm Beach Gardens Benjamin right now as the 3 seed, 7-2. And St. John Paul II from Boca Raton right now out.
Yeah, and right now, like I said, it's again, as we've talked about here along the way. It's a lot of this is probably pretty much set in stone here. I mean, I don't see Vanguard's not catching anybody in the top 3 in that Region 3 there. But I don't see St. John Paul II has not really won anything this year, so that's the big difference. There's only 5 teams in that region, so 4 are going. So
yeah. All right, finally, Region 4, as you mentioned, True North will play against Everglades Prep this week for the District 7 title. Right now, we have True North in the number 1 spot in the region at 7-2. Archbishop Carroll has won District 8. They're the number 2 seed, and they would play Palmer Trinity, who's the 3 seed, and Westminster Christian of Miami. Right now, they are the 4 seed at 4-5, as they are ahead of Somerset south of Homestead.
Yeah, absolutely, and everything like that. And looking at this, going through the thing, it's pretty much, I think these 4 teams are it. These are going to be the 4 teams that are going to be in there.
Now, if True North loses the district, what happens there?
If True North loses the district here, it's a hypothetical we have to answer, even though I think True North just runs away against Everglades Prep. Right. If somehow True North loses Saturday night, Everglades Prep will be in. Westminster Christian is likely the team that would have to would lose the most out, because Everglades Prep would be sitting there in that 4 seed most likely, based upon the power ranking. But right now, I just don't see it changing. But again, the hypothetical there is that, what happens? Well, there's your answer right there.
That's right. Okay, so that is our look at region or class 1M. As we now move ahead to 2S and look at all the district champions here. Of course, we have 16 districts, starting with Grandpa Walton at the top, and then Walton family in the District 2, which right now, those two teams will talk in a minute, would still play each other. That's the 1A matchup right now, Region 1, but there you go.
There you go. Walton there, District 1, South Walton 2, as you said, Marty, and then Florida High there, the state runner-up from 2S last year, sitting there, clinched District 3, and Wakulla, who encapsulated a perfect season, a regular season at 10-0, is captured the 2S4 title.
They had to win a tough one at Swanee, 24-21, to get that district title in the undefeated season. Baker County wins District 5. Bradford, another unbeaten team in District 6. Eastside Rams, they win District 7 pretty easily. Port Orange Atlantic takes District 8. And you look down the road, South Sumter just edges out Denellen 13-12 last week to win District 9. Mm-hmm. Eustis taking District 10. They're having a really good year at 6-3. Hudson in District 11, their only loss to Williston this season. Cocoa in District 12, they have a chance to win the state title again this year, I believe, in 2S. Fort Meade, Hardy, Lemon Bay, and Bishop Barrow round on our district champs. They're in 2S. So
no, absolutely, and everything along that way.
Those are all decided. All this has been decided.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Marty. Everything has been decided there along the way.
That's right. So, of course, now we move along to the region. A look at the regions. Region 1, and again, the top 8 make it here now in 2S, and it'll start at the top. There it is again. Walton Mountain against Grandpa Walton, or against Walton family, Walton South Walton. That'd be the 1-8 matchup. We've been talking about that one a few times this year, and right now it looks like that might hold, as they're both district champions. Wakulla is the number 2 seed, and they would get Marianna in the first round. Marianna dropped a spot to number 7. Gadsden County moving in this week. They go up 3 spots. They replace Godby, as they would take on Florida High right now, and then you have the 4-5 between Pensacola Catholic and Swanee. Swanee's got a big game with Bradford this week still, but right now they would play Pensacola Catholic.
No, you're absolutely right there. Marty, I'm going to adjust something here real quick. Keep on talking. I'm just going to adjust one real quick thing here.
Okay. And looking ahead, as we will take a look at Region 2 in a moment, but is it the air?
I think the fan was kind of causing a problem here. It's causing a little bit of feedback into our background, because I did get a message about that.
Okay.
I thank you, everybody who is actually following us and watching us tonight. Really great audience so far here tonight. And of course, if you got your comments here, pop them in and everything like that. And we're bringing along that and all that. And of course, Emery Smith, we'll get to your comment here in a moment here, because I know you're excited about Hardy and everything. And we'll definitely be talking
in a second. Yep.
Yep, and everything along the way and all that. So, but along the way, here you go, Marty. Region 2 and 2S, and I think there's a team that I think that team that's sitting there at that 1 spot is pretty much it. There is a huge major gap.
Yeah, Bradford's got a big lead there at 9-0, and they have Swanee this week trying to get an undefeated season. 16.898. Yulee right behind him at 7.821. Yulee is district runner-up actually to Baker County, despite being ahead of Baker County. Baker County won District 5, but Yulee right now in the 2 spot. Keystone Heights, how about them? They're in that 7 spot as well. As we mentioned, Baker County and Baldwin would play. That is a rivalry game there between those two if they were to play in the opening round. And then you have Palaca and Eastside, which they were in the same district. Eastside I'm sorry, they weren't in the same district. Palaca was in the district with Bradford.
Yes.
But Eastside right now would host Palaca despite being the lower seed.
Yeah, and
the higher seed.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Again, remember, if a lower seeded district champ is playing a higher seeded at-large team, they will host. The lower seeded district champ will host in the first round. That happens in the first round only. After that, it goes to by seeding order. Otherwise, if it's 2 at-large teams, it's a higher seed. If it's 2 district champs, it's the higher seeded district champ. So that's right. How it works here. when we talk about that here, when we talk about it more on Sunday when we have the official brackets and everything from the FHSAA. But that would be an interesting matchup right there between Palatka and the East Side. I almost want to think, in terms of looking at it, we'll talk a little bit more in a moment. But if that's the case, East Side's going to have to play, East Side and Buchholz, someone's going to have to choose Thursday night, someone's going to have to choose Friday night.
Well, my understanding is East Side would play Thursday, Buchholz Friday, because last year it was split. It was switched.
All right.
Buchholz ended up playing Friday night at Newberry because of the hurricane that week. East Side played at Citizens Field, but Buchholz was originally supposed to play Thursday. So my understanding is East Side would play Thursday, Buchholz Friday. So we'll see if East Side is probably has to get a home game, or they will if they play Palatka.
Yeah, right? And I to be honest, I don't think too much. Here's the only thing that this is where I think could end up changing, and maybe it probably most likely will just be a flip flop. Palatka plays St. Augustine this week, and St. Augustine is 8-0, looking to go 9-0. I just really think it's a situation that, to be honest, it's going to be, everything. I just don't know. If Palatka stuns St. Augustine, that'd be like the biggest news storyline going into the playoffs. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and there's a comment here about Bradford winning this bracket, and I have to admit, I think Bradford's a pretty sizable favorite to win this. Yeah, William Hankerson, thank you.
Yeah, good evening to you, William Hankerson here. Michael Parsons, I was wondering where Michael Parsons at, our neighborhood, our one of our resident followers. He is here. Here I am, and there you go. And good evening to you and everything. And, of course, Michael Parsons agrees, Bradford for sure in that region.
Yeah, so, I think they'd be a pretty sizable favorite there as well. But all right, so we move along to Region 3. This is going to be an interesting one to me. Cocoa, of course, they've been rolling 8-1. They're only lost to St. Thomas Aquinas, allegedly. And they are the number 1 seed, again, by a pretty good margin. But South Sumter right behind them at 9-1. Their only loss came to Hawthorne. And they would play Nature Coast, who is the 7th seed. Meanwhile, you got Titusville, 8-1. And Palm Bay, who would match up. Both are district runners-up. And then Hudson Denellen, that'd be an interesting matchup as well. Cocoa would play Eustis in the first round. So I don't like those matchups, really, there in Region 3.
Yeah, I think these will be some very interesting matchups. I think each one's worth it. I mean, the only one is probably Cocoa's probably going to run away against Eustis. Yeah. But that Hudson-Dunellen matchup, for what it's worth, that's would be an excellent 4-5 matchup. It will give every test to Hudson, who I think has played a weaker schedule, in my opinion, compared to Dunellen. Right. And the only reason I think Dunellen is rated lower is just because of the amount of the wins lost. I think that's the biggest difference here. But
8-1, 6-3. Right?
Yeah. To be honest, that's going to be an excellent matchup. It's going to be an excellent test for Hudson. Dunellen will give them everything in the book. Nature Coast, the strength of schedule might be a little lower than I think, would think with South Sumter, but has been playing really good. So Dunellen tested South Sumter. So I'm assuming Coach Ty Lawrence will have everything ready to go. The Raiders are on a bye week this week, so they're going to be rested and ready to go for the playoffs. And then, of course, Titusville, who's having their best season in many, many years. I don't even know the last time Titusville went 9-1. If somebody knows that piece of history, I mean, it's been a long, long time. I mean, I cannot remember when since starting this almost 15 years ago, Titusville's not been this good.
Yeah, the only loss is to Cocoa.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and I think they right there, and they've already beaten Palm Bay once this year, and of course, I think that's it's a good way to see what Titusville is doing here. And congratulations to the Terriers there, very much improved here in 2 years.
Yeah, Eustis moves in as the district champion. District 10, they beat Mount Dora, so they replaced Mount Dora, and they are in. So Eustis, congratulations on their district championship there, as well. As Michael says, Dunellen takes Hudson. Nice to see Titusville back. I agree.
I think so. I think that's a possibility. But again, Sunday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we'll be in standard time again on Sunday.
That's right. We will be.
Yes.
Change on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Yeah. So, but we will join you after the FHA releases the brackets at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. the FHA releases the brackets. They have their bracket reveal show, but we will come in at between 5 and 7 p.m. on Sunday and break it down, give it to you, have discussion, have the interaction that we have here, like with everything. We'll answer your questions, take all your comments, everything, and then of course, as a thing, we've got some great guests that are going to be part of the roundtable: Larry Bluestein, Irish Bill Hamill, Dan LaForest, and then we got Mike Wright out as well. So we've got a great panel of guests here, everything for Sunday night and for Sunday evening, I should say. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking playoffs and getting ready for everything like that. But Marty, without further ado, Region 4 to us.
Yes, Region 4, and we'll get, in fact, to a moment to what Emery Smith had to say there. Bishop Verot, right now the number 1 seed. They win District 16 and 9-1. Looks like they might stay at the number 1 seed. Fort Meade unbeaten, win District 13. They're number 2. Fort Meade Frostproof, that'd be a fun first-round matchup. 2 rivals there as well. Frostproof in that 7th spot. Lemon Bay won their district. They're the 3 seed. They'd get Mulberry. And then your 4-5 would be Estero and Hardy. There they are, Hardy, District 14 champions. Congratulations to the Hardy High School team.
Yes, and as I'll start this, yes, Hardy clinched the first district title since 2018 after beating Lake Placid 49-14 last Thursday. I'll go ahead and pop up that comment here as we roll along. And actually, I think it showed. Of course, the celebrate, a lot of jubilation celebrations for the players and coaches at the end of the game. Players dumped water on Coach Kemp. This Friday is the 105th meeting between the Florida's oldest continuous rivalry versus the DeSoto County Bulldogs, and we will talk about that on the Gulf Coast Blitz coming up here at 9, because that is a question mark. That there's a question that is there enough there for Hardy to jump into the top 4? That is a question mark that is going to be on the Blitz lines for the show. So there you go. Preview coming up.
And I have another question. Is there enough for Key West to jump into the top 8? They're now 9th. They're the last team out, right behind Booker, who dropped 2 spots.
Yeah.
To 8th, but it's still in there. Mulberry went up 2 to 6th. And how about Key West? They're the first team out.
Yeah, and Key West, I'll tell you this something here. What's interesting about Key West is why Key West is sitting there. Clewiston had to take a forfeit this past week. Clewiston actually is forfeiting their last 2 games of the season. Clewiston had to forfeit against Avon Park to finish the thing, and Okeechobee, their season's done after a brawl that broke out. Same thing happened in the Grove, ended up forfeiting the Kings Academy, and Kings Academy did their senior celebration, but didn't play a football game Friday night because of the result of the incident there. Right. So there you go.
All right. Well, now it's time to move on to 2M, and first we take a look at the district champions. And there they are.
Yes, indeed, Marty. And of course, I think it's no surprise to look at it. Rains bowls Riverside out of Jacksonville. It takes 1, 2, 3 respectively in the districts. Bishop Moore in a 2-team district, taking 2 and 4, and of course you start to look along the way, but there's a 3-way tie sitting there, 2 and 8.
Yeah, it looks like that's Lakewood and
Gibbs and Boca Ciega. They are in a 3-way tie. All Boca Ciega had to do was beat Gibbs. Well, Gibbs beat them, and now that puts Lakewood is sitting in the driver's seat. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. Here
with a 2-7 record, interestingly enough.
Yes.
But yeah, as you said, they're Robinson of Tampa. They're district champs, Tampa Robinson. Also Calvary Christian out of Clearwater, not surprisingly, they're in a big year as well. Kings Academy, St. Andrews of Boca, Calvary Christian of Fort Lauderdale, and Plantation American Heritage, the Patriots. Miami Norland, the Vikings, win District 13. Booker T. Washington takes District 14. St. Brendan in 15, and Gulliver Prep down in District 16. So those are your district champs for 2M.
No, absolutely. And of course, everything. And of course, real quick before we do continue on, head coach Jeremy Bell from Port Orange Atlantic, week by week, he is right about that. They did win. They're in the playoffs there. District champs, too. So there you go. Congratulations, Coach Bell, to your Port Orange Atlantic Sharks.
And good luck against Fitz Bradford. Good luck. But yeah, at least you made it there. You're right. Congratulations on your district championship there. So. All right, well, take a look, as you said, at 2M there. Reigns won District 1 pretty easily as they defeated Andrew Jackson 40-8, and, well, that would be the first-round matchup right now. Andrew Jackson in that 8th spot. They fell 1 spot from 7 to 8 as Episcopal moved to 7, but right now Reigns would play Jackson. Bowles and Bishop Kenny, they just played at Bowles, and they would play at Bowles again as Bowles won the district championship with a win last week over Bishop Kenny, and Bishop Kenny right now 5-4. Bowles is actually 5-4. It says 4-4 here, but they're
5-4. You're right. I'm sorry, I forgot to change that, but they are 5-4. So you're right about that. They are 5-4 here.
And Bishop Moore continues to move up. They lost their first 3. They won 6 in a row. Number 2 seed, as you said, only a 2-team district, beat Lake Buena Vista. Episcopal's moved up to number 7, as we said, and then Riverside Ed White. That'd be a fun first-round matchup, 3 and 6. Riverside's playing really good football, and right now Wolfson dropped out last week. into the 9th spot, and Wilson and Lake Buena Vista of Orlando are on the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael Barson says, watch out for Bishop Moore.
I agree. And the only problem Bishop Moore is going to have is they've got to play in that region with Rains and Bowles and Riverside. And they ran into Bowles last year. But
yes.
So that is Region 1 as we move along to Region 2. And right now we see Berkeley Prep, who, by the way, will play Bowles this week in Tampa.
So a lot of playoff implications on the line there on that one in terms of where the positioning for these teams end up at. And, of course, Berkeley Prep is not a district champ, by the way.
And by the way, I guess, did Calvary win?
Yes, Calvary Christian, that is their district.
So they're the 2 seed. Both are 7-2, but I guess because of schedule, Berkeley Prep is first. So they would play Middleton out of Tampa right now, who is a district champ as well. So they're in as they fell a spot to 8th, but they are in. Clearwater, the 3, they would take on Blake.
Yes.
Just a 6 seed. They fell 1 spot, but stay 6. Tampa Catholic and Tampa Robinson in the 4-5. Robinson is a district champion, as we said earlier. And that'd be an interesting first-round matchup as well. But as you mentioned, Lakewood, they moved into the spot there at 2-8, 2-7. That's a three-way tie. But right now, Lakewood in the lead.
Yes, Lakewood's in the lead. Gibbs has popped in. Gibbs is still sitting there. But Boca Ciega, who was sitting there in the district lead, is now out. And Tampa Middleton won their district, sitting there at that number 8 seed there, Marty.
That's right. So Dunedin and Gibbs are the 2 teams out right now. Dunedin trying to make a late run.
Oh, and before we roll into Region 3, which I've already popped up on the screen here, but Michael Parsons, yes, Calvary Christian did beat the Berkeley Prep Buccaneers by 7 in the regular season.
I thought it was Tampa Bay for a minute. So the Bucs by 7.
But they had the Buccaneers mascot before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Berkeley Prep's been there.
That's right. They are the Bucs. They have been the Bucs a long time. All right. Region 3, American Heritage, of course. They are the number 1 seed, as you would expect, champs of District 12. Right now, North Broward Prep is in that 8th spot. They move up a spot, replacing Delray American Heritage. And that would be the matchup for American Heritage right now. Cardinal Gibbons, they're the runner-up to American Heritage in that District 12, and they are in the 2 spot right now. As they would play Stranahan. St. Andrews of Boca Raton, District 10 champs, would play another District 11 champ, Calvary Christian of Fort Lauderdale, in the 3-6 matchup. And then the 4-5 Kings Academy, also district champion, against Boynton Beach Somerset Canyons.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as we roll along here in terms of these district, these games, I expect a potential rematch between Heritage and Cardinal Gibbons sitting there in the regional final. I think those are the 2 best teams. And obviously, the power rankings confirm that here. So
yeah, American Heritage beat them pretty handily the first time.
We'll see what happens here along the way here. And of course, appreciate everybody watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever we post videos or go live. So click that there on YouTube. We appreciate where you're watching, wherever you're watching at, on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter, or the platform now known as X. And as we roll into Region 4, Marty, I think there is no surprises here. Sitting here, of course, Miami Norland.
And Miami Norland, unbeaten 9-0. They beat Miami Central this year. They've beaten Lakeland. Good year for them. They are in that number 1 spot, Miami Norland, right now. Miami Central, number 2, right behind them. They would take on North Miami Beach. You got Booker T. Washington, the 3 seed district champs for them. They'd have Miami Edison in the first round right now, according to this. And then St. Brendan, they are a district champ, but they are the 8th seed, which means they would get, Miami Norland in the first round. So that'd be a tough one for St. Brendan as well. Right now, Miami Northwestern and Miami Killian are the first 2 out.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think, right now, I think the biggest shocker in all this, I think that comes in, and I think this is going to be tough, like tough as nails. Miami Northwestern not making the playoffs this year. I mean, that would be strange to have a playoffs without Miami Northwestern sitting there in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I know that's that would be something to see that. And Miami Northwestern's not having their normal year, but it looks like right now they are going to be on the outside looking in. As Marquez says, Vikes.
Yeah, talking about the Miami Norland Vikings, Coach Marquez. Thank you for joining and watching, and we appreciate it. Share that video across Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching at. We definitely appreciate you all watching here as well. So
Norland's got a chance to win that state title. They're one of the favorites.
And good evening to you, Marvio Williams from Madison, Florida. Yes, we appreciate everybody joining in and watching wherever you're at. Hawthorne tuning in. Hey, if you want to pop in where you're watching from, that's great as well. We definitely appreciate it. We love it here as we do the final playoff ranking breakdown show, and we'll have playoff shows during the playoffs here for you across the FloatHSFootball.com platforms on the website and on the social media channels here. And Marty, how about we roll into the Class 3s now, starting with 3S?
Yeah, we still got 3S, 3M, 4S, and 4M to get to. So let's look at the district champs in 3S as you look up, starting in the Panhandle, District 1 with Choctaw. They win a district title for Frank Beasley. Lincoln takes District 2, Lake City, Columbia in District 3. St. Augustine, unbeaten, District 4. Vanguard, Ocala Vanguard, District 5. River Ridge, Zephyr Hills, down to Lake Wales, the defending state champion in District 8. Mainland, still unbeaten, takes District 9. O'Galley in District 10. Sebring, the Blue Streaks, win District 11. Jensen Beach, Port Charlotte, Cape Coral Mariner, Dunbar out of Fort Myers, and Golden Gate out of Naples. So we've got some teams, some new blood in there for this district champs.
Well, Mariner win their first district title this century, so there you go.
Oh,
congratulations to the Tritons.
And Golden Gate beating Naples, winning that district as well. So, yeah, interesting to see that as we look forward towards the postseason. And we mentioned in 3S right now.
And, before we roll along here, before we get deep into the 3S, Kenneth Ferguson says Central will beat Norland in a rematch in Region 4. We will see. I think it's going to that'll be a dandy there to have that rematch there in the regional finals. I think that'll definitely happen. And Brandon Covington, someone I've known for a long time. What's good, my guy? We are rolling along, doing live shows now here across the Facebook platform, Twitter, and YouTube, and all that. So definitely a lot right there. And of course, Clay Wick says Jensen Beach. Yes, Jensen Beach, those district champs, as we just mentioned here, Marty.
Yeah, they are. They are district champs, and they are being Region 3, and we'll talk about them in a moment as well, as we'll see who they're right now matching up with. Lake Wales Highlanders are going back-to-back. Well, maybe, but I can tell you one thing. You guys aren't going to be happy again because when we show you Region 2.
And of course, 2 in Region 4 is loaded. I mean, we're appreciating the comments here, wherever you're joining us from. We definitely appreciate it here. Definitely having a lot here. We're trying to get through here a little as quickly as we can here, but we're enjoying it. Coach Denzel from Vanguard is joining us here. And Blue Streak's 2 losses are from 2 undefeated teams. And that's there you go, right there. That says it all right there. And, of course, Bill Casanova says hello from Lakeland here. So, and of course, and Brandon Covington says good stuff. One more. Yes, indeed. One more week playoffs here in Texas. They're going to he's out in Texas, but he's from Florida, and he's got to keep an eye on what's going on down here too.
All right, that sounds good. And it looks like Shane Simmons has said, "Yeah, we're not going to like it." I think he's talking about.
Yeah, we're not. LOL.
Yeah, he knows what's going on. Yeah, and we've been talking about this almost every week. We've done this. It seems like, but let's start in Region 1 first. For St. Augustine, they're a pretty sizable lead. Hello, Shane from Lake Wales. Good to hear from you as well. Excuse me. Look who St. Augustine would play, though. Hanging in there at number 8, the Middleburg Broncos, despite losing to my alma mater last week, Orange Park. Yep, there you go. But it didn't cost them too much because if they beat Bernardino Beach this week, I think they got a good shot because Menendez is right behind them, but Menendez kind of maybe coming a little too late.
Yeah, I think it just depends on everything. And you know what? As you said, Middleburg has got Bernardino Beach this week. I'm sure I don't remember who Menendez has got. Let me pull that up here real quick here on the scoreboard here for this week. All the scores on our FloatHSFootball.com scores for the schedule for this week. They're sitting here on the scoreboards. Go to FloatHSFootball.com/scoreboards, and you know what? There you go. This is thing. So I'm just trying to for Menendez. They've got Yulee. To be honest with you, I think that's a tough game. Yulee's already. I mean.
Yulee's in.
Yulee's in, but I think Yulee wins this game. Menendez has been kind of up and down this year.
Yeah, well, they just knocked off Matanzas. That's the one. And by the way, Matanzas drops 3 spots, but they're still 7th, so they're in there right now, but they need to hold on. Lincoln, district champs. Choctaw, district champs. Pine Forest, not a district champ, but they.
But Columbia would host that game.
Columbia would host it as a 5. They moved up a spot as well. Escambia moved up to the 6th spot, and they play their rival, their Choctaw, as well. All right, so we'll see how that works out. And here we go. Here's Region 2, and there you see at the top, not Lake Wales. It's the Vanguard Knights.
But there's a comma BUT here. But
yeah,
it is actually very, very close when we talk about it. 13.793 for Vanguard, 13.634 for Lake Wales. To be honest, I think this might be as long as Lake Wales wins this week, I think they jump Vanguard and they will be the 1 seed when the final brackets come out on Sunday.
Well, I think at this point, okay, let's look who's Vanguard's lost to. Buchholz, who's maybe the number one team in the state.
And like Mineola, I think.
No. Last week, South Sumter.
No, they lost. Oh, yeah, that's right. South Sumter. They did.
Who only has one loss.
By the way, they did beat like Mineola. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No, South Sumter was the other loss. We know how good they are. So it's like, yeah, they've got a, and that's true. Columbia's playing Vero Beach this week. I forgot about that. Michael Parsons says. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, right now Vanguard, you just said Lake Wales could jump them again. Lake Wales is unbeaten. Vanguard has 2 losses. Leesburg, I sure hope so. Well, we'll see. It's kind of been like this for a while, but how about Leesburg? 9-1, and they would be district runner-up because Vanguard beat them, but they're the 3 seed. They play Auburndale right now, and 9-1 are the Leesburg Yellow Jackets. It's been a while since we could say that about Leesburg. Zephyr Hills, district champion, to play Wesley Chapel, Cypress Creek.
And a rematch right there, who they just beat for the district championship. So there's
Yep.
So that's pretty much what Region 2 looks like. I don't think there's going to be much change here in terms of the one team that really is interesting that's sitting there. Tavares in 5A, especially 5A, 6-3, but they're sitting there on a holdout, even though they beat River Ridge. River Ridge is the district champs because 5A had 2 losses. So, but that's the problem that sometimes you just got to win those games that really do matter, and River Ridge did it, and 5A unfortunately did not.
Yeah, Region 3. We need to probably start moving a little faster.
But yeah, we're going.
It's 6:54. So, Region 3, Mainland Bucks staying unbeaten. They're number 1. O'Galley is a district champion. That's his Sebring. And so is Jensen Beach. They play Rockledge in the opening round. I just mentioned Jensen Beach. Rockledge, not a district champ. That'd be a good 4 or 5 matchup there.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's going to be huge in terms of the matchup. I like that 4 or 5 matchup. Of course, Jensen Beach would be the host in that game right there, and O'Galley Satellite district rematch at Sebring Merritt Island. I think that actually would be a very interesting game between the Blue Streaks and the Mustangs.
Yeah, I think so as well. That would be at Sebring. They win District 11. All right, Region 4. Well, we talked about Golden Gate earlier this year. They are the number 1 seed. They won District 16 over Naples. So Naples is the 2 seed there. Golden Gate number 1. And Golden Gate, we're playing Mariner, who, as you mentioned, 8-1, their first district title since the 90s?
Yeah, since the 90s, and I think the late 90s. But back to Golden Gate and Naples real quick. The difference between Golden Gate and Naples, not very much, 11.874 to 11.226. So there's not much difference there. So basically, Golden Gate has to win. Naples is already done. They're finished the season at 8 and regular season at 8-2. Yeah, Golden Gate wins this week. Then I think they probably that number 1 spot's locked in. If they lose, I think that number 1 spot ends up in Naples' hands.
Yeah, right. As you said, that Dunbar and Port Charlotte are district champs. But Port Charlotte, as the 6 seed, would host Barron Collier, who's the 3 seed, because Barron Collier is a runner-up as well. They're in Region 4, and then Dunbar and Fort Myers. That's the matchup right now. All right, that's it for Class 3S as we move to 3M.
Yes. And there's your district champs.
Yeah, look down the line. How about First Coast?
Stunning Fletcher in overtime, 28-27. Congratulations to Marty Lee and those Buccaneers district champs. Maybe, if the question mark is this going to be Marty Lee's last year? We'll talk about that.
They said that last year.
We'll talk more of that on the North Florida Blitz on that one.
That's right. But First Coast, you're right. They pull the upset over Fletcher. They're the District 1 champs. And you got Oviedo. Edgewater, of course, is enrolling all year. Unbeaten. Armwood wins District 4. Jesuit takes District 5 down to East Bay and Largo. St. Pete in District 8. Delray Beach Atlantic in District 9. Coconut Creek and St. Thomas Aquinas, of course. Piper, South Broward, Miramar, Hialeah. And District 16 goes to Homestead.
Yes. No, absolutely. And, of course, those are your district champs. No tiebreakers needed in Class 3M. That's all situated, decided, and settled. Lock, I don't know. I can't even say it right now.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
There you go. Thank you. That was
that's what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yes.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
And there you go. But for First Coast, your potential matchup is making a trip to Edgewater, who is 9-0.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one for Coach Lee and his team. But hey, they made it, so that's good for them as well. Edgewater 9-0. Unbeaten Steffner and Armwood's number 2 seed 8-1. Who was their only loss was to Jesuit, I believe. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Armwood and but right there, and Jesuit sitting there in that Region 2, which we'll talk about in a moment here. But interesting enough, there's Tampa Bay Tech and Fletcher sitting in 3-6. That'd be a rematch of the first round from last year. Tampa Bay Tech dominated Fletcher, and
they did. Fletcher's still in good shape.
But for Tampa Bay Tech, they would host this time around instead of Fletcher hosting.
That's right. Fletcher's got to watch out though because Wharton's right behind him. And then, of course, First Coast is 8th, but First Coast would be in ahead of them.
And I believe First Coast is playing Andrew Jackson this week, so I want to say I think
that First Coast. I'm trying to think if Fletcher's playing, but
Fletcher is playing. I want to say I've actually still got it right here. I can pull it up here real quick and tell you. Fletcher is playing Atlantic Coast.
Atlantic Coast, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right.
And Charles Bell, we have not done 4S yet. Where that's coming up. So
it's coming. As Wekiva and Lyman both falling back a spot this week. Wekiva falls out as First Coast dropped him, replaced in Region 2.
And Michael Parsons says, yeah, that is a potential chance right there if that happens. That Jones gets another shot at Edgewater in the regional semifinals. So, but we little pressed for time here. We got to roll along here.
All right, Jesuit, the top seed in Region 1. We see Largo, district champ. They're number 2 seed. Hillsboro, 3. St. Pete, a district champ, is the 4 seed. They would take on St. Pete Northeast right now in a 4-5 matchup. East Bay, a district champ, is the 6 seed, would actually host Hillsboro as the 6. And then you've got Gaither and Pinellas Park in the 8th spot. Osceola, Seminole. Wait a minute. Seminole, Osceola, and Seminole. Okay, that must be a misprint.
No, they're the first 2 out. They're both in the same region, the same district. They're the first 2 out.
Seminole.
They're in Pinellas County.
Oh, I'm thinking of Osceola. Okay,
the other Seminoles in 4M.
That's right. I'm thinking there's an Osceola there as well. Okay, sorry about that. Region 3. Well, this is right now being dominated by St. Thomas Aquinas, you would guess, the 1 seed.
I will tell you something. I had a conversation with John Santucci, and he's not so certain about St. Thomas Aquinas. They're going to have to go through a gauntlet here, and Coconut Creek has been really, really good right now.
Yeah, 8-2. Delray Beach Atlantic 8-1. The number 2 seed will play Plantation. Coconut Creek would get West Boca. West Boca Raton, I thought they won the district.
No, they didn't actually. That would go to Coconut Creek, but West Boca Raton beat Blanche Ely, which vaulted them into the rankings.
That's right. They're 6 now. They were out last week, and we're replacing Seminole Ridge, who dropped out as well. So, and Piper is a district champ, so there's an
seed. Congratulations to the Piper Bengals, who upset Plantation, and now Piper is in the playoffs, and that's the thing for Plantation. This is a big thing. Plantation, I want to say, they actually play Western this week. And that right there, I want to warn everybody. Plantation is in trouble here. If they lose to Western and Seminole Ridge somehow finds their way to that 7th spot, that is the question mark right there. There's going to be some situations here. We got to keep an eye on that 7th spot, because what happens with Piper's in. It's just maybe Piper moves up to 7, but Plantation has to find a way to upset Western this week and make sure that they can secure that spot.
Yep. All right, on to Region 4, we said Homestead. They are a district champ, number 1 seed here. South Broward, the 2 seed as well, also a district champion. Miami Southridge, not a district champion, 3. Miramar and Hialeah, both district champs in the 4-5 matchup, as is Belen Jesuit. 7 Everglades drops a spot, but they are at 8th, and MacArthur trying to make a late run. They're the first team out in the 9th spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, it'd be very interesting to see Everglades. I can't recall the last time Everglades made the finals, so it's been a while. I've got the old FHA record book still sitting there with terms of a lot of the old stuff. That's the record book is not as thick now in terms of all the stuff.
Right.
A lot of the history, finding that, getting all that. So that'll be I'll be using that for some good articles and stuff, content that we're going to be talking about over the coming weeks here. So
all right, let's move on to Final 1, Class 4.
And then we're heading 4S of all the district champs here, and so we've got some interesting situations here. Marty?
Well, it says 4S4 is undecided. That is between Ponte Vedra, Nice, and Tecoy Creek. And Tecoy Creek plays Nice this week. Ponte Vedra lost to Nice last week.
So there's two scenarios here. So Tecoy Creek and Nice played this week. There's 2 scenarios that can happen. Nice goes ahead and beats Tecoy Creek. Nice wins the district. Nice is in. Totally. Right. And we'll talk about that more here in a moment as you see what we'll do here. The second option is Tecoy Creek. The thing would be Tecoy Creek beats Nice and forces a 3-way tie.
Yeah, that could happen. Or right now, Ponte Vedra is leading there. They are the number 2 seed, and we'll see in a minute in Region 1. Meanwhile, 4S8, there's a 3-way tie. That's Winter Haven, Bartow, and Haines City.
Yes.
And right now, Bartow is leading.
In the driver's seat, yes.
Yeah, so did you see DeLand winning their district again? Osceola, they were 3-6, Kissimmee Osceola, but they win District 10. Treasure Coast beats Vero Beach to win District 12. Manatee Venice, Be Nice in District 14, Charlotte, and Immokalee. And of course, at the top, we talked about Navarre. We'll talk to Irish Bill Hamill this week about Navarre. Of course, he does their games over in the Panhandle. Mosley, they go to Niceville and win by a point. Mosley takes District 2. That's a bit of a surprise. And then, not surprisingly, Buholtz District 3 champion as well. So, as we take a look now at Region 1, there are the Buholtz Bobcats still on top, 18.136. Got to think that they're probably going to be the number 1 seed at this point. The last game at Trinity Catholic this week.
Yeah.
And they would host the Mosley Dolphins right now.
Yes, they would host Mosley in that 1-8 matchup, and that'd be a really good matchup, I think, in a lot of ways. Mosley's been playing some good football as of late, and interesting there, that 4-5 matchup. Navarre ended up hosting Bartram Trail because Bartram Trail will be at large in that situation. But
how about Ponte Vedra Nice again?
And Nice would host that game in that situation
That's
now.
Right. Nice beat them by a point in Ponte Vedra the other night, and in Niceville and Pace. Niceville still the 3 seed, is ahead of ahead of Mosley, of course, but they would host Pace in that round. Creekside, right now, Creekside is out because of Mosley moving in.
Yeah, Mosley
and Nice.
And Nice. I mean, Mosley and Nice messed a lot of things up in this region right now. So, but we'll see how this shakes out here on Sunday. We will see what happens here. So, and in terms of, and William Hankinson does ask a question, do you see an upset in this region? I really actually don't see an upset in this region. Buholtz is just really good.
I think Buholtz might win the whole thing,
yes,
honestly. And I know I'm going to hear from Lakeland about that, but, I mean, I'm serious. And Mosley will be returning 17 starters next year. Yeah, you got to like what they're doing. And, I think they're 7-3, 7-2.
Mosley, no, yeah,
6-3.
Yeah, they're 6-3.
Yeah, and beat Niceville. So, but right now, Childs dropped out as well on Creekside, so those two are going to have to get some work done here this week and some help. Region 2, Lakeland, they're on top again. The Dreadnought.
Yes.
7-3. They finished their regular season.
Somehow the region thing, it says Buholtz on top. That's supposed to be Lakeland. I don't know what happened there when I've created the graphic. I will have to fix that. But sorry, my apologies, everybody. That is Lakeland sitting there at 1. That's for that region 2. So that should be Lakeland sitting there. I will tell you that.
Yeah, Lake Gibson moving into that 8th spot. They replaced Mitchell, Haines City in there as well. Still the number 7 seeds. You mentioned Bartow, Haines City, and Winter Haven all up for that district title. Bartow right now would be favored. Winter Haven would go to Wiregrass Ranch, who is a district champ. Lake Mineola would host Springstead. Springstead fell 3 spots, but still is number 6. So they're in good shape there as well.
Yeah, so pretty interesting there, that region. I think that region almost pretty much set there. We'll see what happens between the game between Lake Gibson and Lake Mineola there. So both of those teams in the same region, but we'll see what happens here on Friday night as we roll into Region 3 as we try to hurry this thing along here. Here you go. Treasure Coast sitting there at the 1 spot, Marty. Osceola would be the 8th seed there. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting region, but I like that 3-6 matchup sitting there between DeLand and Vero Beach.
Yeah, that'd be nice. You're right. And DeLand having a good year as well, but Vero Beach losing that game to Treasure Coast, dropping them down now as they're going to have to go on the road as a runner-up. Meanwhile, University, Orange City, still number 2 seed, even though DeLand won the district. And they actually fell from 1st to 2nd this week, but still at 8-1 there in that spot with DeLand 3rd, and then Palm Bay Heritage District champs as well. And right now, New Smyrna Beach would play University. That'd be another rematch as well. And Vero would get DeLand, as you said, so that would be interesting to watch. Martin County making a late run, but right now the first team out, Vieira, fell a spot as well. They are out right now.
And last but not least, in Class 4S Region 4, where Venice is just totally dominating in that region, and they're sitting there at a nice 14.004, about 4 points ahead of Manatee there, who was 2nd there in the region. And I think that's going to be who your 1-2 seeds are, because Sarasota Riverview is pretty much behind by 7 points there on Venice. Right. So I don't think that's going to be much there in terms of what you're seeing there. But congratulations to Immokalee, who's in the thing, and of course Charlotte as well. Both of them are in the playoffs and locked in at spots.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So that is it for 4S. Finally, we go to 4M. This is our last classification, and let's take a look at the district champs here. The Mandarin Mustangs in District 1 in Jacksonville. How about Seminole?
Yes.
Beating Lake Mary by a point and taking District 2.
All they do is take a 2-point conversion, and that's it right there. And they came back down, I believe, 2 touchdowns there on Lake Mary. So Lake Mary had it kind of sitting there, and Seminole was like, no, not yet.
Yeah, first loss of the year. Winter Park and unbeaten in District 3, Boone in 4, Olympia in District 5. We have a three-way tie in District 6. Right now, that is between Palm Harbor University, who else?
Eastlake and
Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner right now, but Palm Harbor University has a pretty sizable lead right now at 7-2. So, meanwhile, we see Plant in District 7 as Plant won that district over Plant City.
Yes.
And Durant, that is the
4M8 right there, and then of course Jupiter, who's won their first district title in almost 20 years, sitting there 4M9.
Plant City Durant, sorry, yeah,
yes.
They're Jupiter District 9, Palm Beach Central, Boca Raton, Monarch, winning District 12, Coconut Creek, Davie Western, West Broward takes District 14. I was getting West Broward confused with West Boca, I think that's what it was.
Yes.
Columbus, defending state champs, they win District 15, Miami Palmetto in District 16. All right.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And of course, let's roll along here as we're a few minutes over. So we may start the first show, the South Florida Blitz, just slightly a few minutes behind. We're a little after 7:30, probably 7:35, right. But we'll be rolling along here. But Lake Mary sitting at a one spot despite the fact of losing.
Yeah, and that would actually go to Boone in that
yes.
game, because Boone, the 8th seed, is a district champion right now. As you mentioned, Seminole, they're the 2 seed. They win the district title, but host Haggerty of Oviedo. And you got Winter Park and Evans.
And then you got a Mandarin and Apopka, which Mandarin would host that game too. So that would be and I think that's going to be a really good matchup, that 4-5 there.
I accidentally shaded Apopka here. I didn't mean to. They're the 4th spot. You're right. Mandarin district champs. Apopka was not. And the first 2 out, Atlantic Coast and Timber Creek. But it's going to be tough for them to make it because, well, Boone is one of his district champs. We'll see, though. 4M Region 1 loaded. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good region there in Central Florida, mostly Central Florida teams in Orlando area. So, all right, Region 2. Well, Riverview Sumner is the number 1 seed, but they are not the district champion. It's actually Plant City Durant. Durant wins that district, and they're at the bottom as a 6th seed. Right now, though, they would go to Olympia, who's the 3 seed. Plant, the 2 seed, hosting Riverview, who now drops 5 spots, but stays in at number 7 after losing last week. And then, as we said, Palm Harbor University right now, the 6th seed.
Yeah.
The 5, pardon me. They would win. They would actually host Dr. Phillips if they won District 6 there.
No, absolutely. And, of course, looking at it here, going into Region 3 as we wrap up the last 2 regions here in Class 4M here. Palm Beach Central holding that 1 spot right there, but but it's not by much. 10.825 to 10.326 with Monarch, the number 2 seed, and there's a distance been there between 2 and 3 with Jupiter and Boca Raton being in the top 4, all 4 district champs, by the way, in that top 4.
Yeah, those are pretty much set, I think, as you mentioned. I guess the only real drama here, Stoneman Douglas moves in as the 8th seed this week. Are they going to be able to hold off Park Vista, who is now in the 9th spot? And we'll see if that's what happens. If they can hold them off this final week.
Yeah, and of course that 3-6 matchup, Jupiter Palm Beach Gardens, that would be a rematch right there. Boca Raton Santa Lucia's in that 4-5, that would be a rematch. So some interesting in terms of the games rematches that we would potentially see here in the regional quarters, but we'll find out Sunday for sure what is going to happen here. And last but not least, Region 4 in Class 4M, Marty, and I don't think there's really much to change.
Columbus Explorers in the lead. They're District 15 champs and defending state champions there. Miami Palmetto second. They're in pretty good shape there. Palmetto would play Doral Academy, and Goldman against Columbus the first round as well. Davie Western, they're district champs in District 3. They would host Cypress Bay, and then West Broward as the 5 seed. They would actually host South Dade in that 4-5 matchup as a district champion as well. And Coral Gables and Flanagan, Twinbrook Pines are the teams looking in right now. So that is that for our final Tuesday edition.
Yes, and to get everybody up here real quick here, we got coming up the South Florida Blitz at 7:30. We got the Central Florida Blitz coming up at 8:15. The Gulf Coast Blitz coming up at 9 o'clock. And at 9:45, we have the North Florida Blitz. We don't have any guests this week. We're going to kind of set the table, go over the storylines, kind of set more of the table with the playoffs. Get ready. And it's the final week of the regular season here, Marty. And that's the big thing here. This is it. This is everything is what's left. This is it.
Yeah, it is. And I like the conversation here. Michael Parsons and Charles Bell. Kind of go back. Charles Bell talking about Lakeland. He asked if Lakeland, do I see Lakeland steamrolling Region 2? Yeah, possibly. I have a feeling that could happen, but we'll see as that season goes on. I think we're going to be interested to see how Lakeland does there. But we'll talk more about that coming up in the
Blitz shows.
Gulf Coast Blitz.
Yeah, the Gulf Coast Blitz, yes.
Right. Remember my geography. Well, that's going to do it for our last playoff preview breakdown show.
Yes.
And a reminder, Sunday, the announcement is at 10 a.m. at the Perrys. We will be on the air 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday evening to bring you the look at the matchups and lots of good guests, roundtable discussions.
Yes, roundtable discussion. And we got the GOAT, Larry Bluestein. We've got Mike Rideout from Main Street Daily News in the Prep Zone up here in North Central Florida. We will also have Irish Bill from Irish Bill Sports out in the Panhandle, and of course, we will have Dan LaForest, Central Florida High School Football Scoreboard, and also here part of FloydHSFootball.com as well. So we definitely appreciate everybody watching here on the Playoff Rankings Breakdown Show here this season. We will see you later this evening here, starting at a little after 7:30 for the South Florida Blitz, and we'll see you then again on Sunday as well. So appreciate it. Stay tuned here. We'll have more content here on FloydHSFootball.com. For Marty Pallman, I'm Joshua Wilson.
Bye.
So long.
All right, good job. Got to cover a little more tonight anyway.